Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Jen. I am a homeschool mom of 6. Well, I feel like I have to stop saying that now because my oldest is graduating this year, so it's gonna be 5, but I always think of myself as a homeschool mom of 6. Today's video, I thought I would show you guys some of the, I say some because I think I was able to wrangle everything up, but I was like walking around the schoolroom and I kept like finding things. Oh yeah, I forgot we used that, because some of the stuff was at the beginning of the year, some of the stuff we used all the way through, but a lot of things, you know, we kind of just kept cycling through or swapping out. So I think I have everything here, but there's a good chance I may have forgotten something. Not that it's not enough stuff. The way that we do morning time, if you're new to homeschooling or even if you've been homeschooling for a long time, there are variations of this concept. Some people call it morning basket, morning cart. I would say ours is more of a morning cart. We have one of those like IKEA 3-tiered carts where I would keep most of my stuff, but to be honest with you, a lot of my stuff was just kind of scattered throughout the homeschool room or my desk or various like bookshelves we have in our family room. It was just the time in the morning. It's kind of how we kicked off our homeschool days. First thing in the morning, I mean after breakfast and everything like that, everybody getting ready for the day. Usually what I would do is I would start off, we're Canadian, we live here in Canada, so I would start off by playing our Canadian anthem. The kids kind of knew that if they weren't already at the table, that was their cue to come and join me at our table. We usually did it at our kitchen table. As the weather was starting to get nice near the end of school, we were doing our morning times out on our deck, which was super nice. So I would play the national anthem, and that would be everyone's cue to come to the table. So we started off with that every single morning, and then it was just an opportunity for us to do some, I don't even want to say group subjects, because that's kind of a whole separate thing that we do, especially because my kids range from 5 to 18. We're kind of past the point of really being able to do actual subjects as an entire group, but just things that sort of I could hit with everybody and everybody could participate to a certain extent. Some things maybe were a little more catered to the younger kids, and other things though might be catered to the older kids. I believe that when you're doing homeschooling in your family, that there's always things that you can do together that everyone can participate in. I don't think there's ever a time when, you know, somebody can't learn something from what's being talked about or what's being read. I did try to make sure though that we had a variety of things so that, you know, nobody kind of felt like it was either too below them or too above, you know, their grasp or their comprehension of whatever was going on. So you'll kind of see everybody does it differently. I mean, honestly, there's no right or wrong way to do anything really in homeschooling. You may have seen someone else do this type of thing, and their morning time, morning basket, morning cart may look very different than mine, and that's okay, and yours may also look very different from mine. I'm more just showing this and sharing this to give you guys maybe some ideas of some stuff that you can incorporate into yours if you're looking for maybe some ideas of things that you can do with your family. So I guess what we would, sort of the order of things that we would do, after we would do the anthem, I always tried to do our Bible time / devotional time first. Anything that had to do with, you know, prayer, the Bible, kind of time with God, that always kind of came first before we moved on to anything else. With that being said, I don't have my Bible here, but we would use the Bible obviously to look up verses and stuff like that. And we had 2 different like family devotionals that we used for this year. Last year we used I can't think of his name now. I think it's called How Great Is Our God. You can find it on Amazon. It's catered to more of a younger crowd, a younger age. We did do that one for a little bit last year. These are the 2 that we did this year. So the first half of the year, or I say half loosely, however long it lasted, we did our 24 Family Ways by Clay Clarkson, who is the husband to Sally Clarkson. Some of you might know who she is. She is like an inspirational speaker, author. Her books are fantastic. She's kind of like second mom. Do you know what I'm saying? She kind of is that kind of figure in how everything about her is like second mom. We did this one, we loved it. What I love about this one is that every week it focuses on like what they call a family way. So basically it's something that you're going to work on for that week. So for instance, I open the page, our family way number 20 says, we choose to be gracious even when we don't feel like it. So this whole week was about like your attitudes with your family and how to be gracious when you don't feel like it. And so every single day there would be, it's like day 1 all the way up to day 5. And every single day there would be a verse connected pertaining to that family way. And then there'd be some questions that you would answer. I like the questions are very much, sometimes they would be about the verse, but a lot of times they're very like practical, like how does this apply to your family type questions. And so it sparked a lot of conversation with the kids and myself. It's interesting to hear, you know, a lot of the answers that came up in the discussions that we had. So do that, then you have a Bible verse, then usually you talk about it a little bit more afterwards, and then there's some prayer time. So I thought this was fantastic. Like I said, it's all very applicable to being in a family. You know, we take initiative to do all of our work without needing to be told. That's another one. We are thankful to God for what we have, whether it is a little or a lot. So just great. Like I would almost do this a second time. I don't know if I'll do it this year coming because we just finished it, but it really was a great resource in our morning time. So I highly, highly recommend that. When we were done that, I moved on to this one, which is Once a Day at the Table Family Devotions. It's by Zondervan, but I don't know who it doesn't have like a specific, oh, it is. It's by Christopher Hudson. And this is another one that it's dated. So it goes through January 1st all the way to December 31st. So this one is more of a year-round Bible devotion. It's sort of similarly, in a way, the structure is kind of similar. It's not so much where you focus on a certain thing every week, but it has a Bible verse that you read. Then it has a couple of questions that you answer. It gives a little bit of a little blurb, a little discussion sort of about what you read and how it pertains to whatever whatever the topic is. So for instance, in this one, it's like, if you want to be wise, it talks about Proverbs, the way of fools seems right to them, but the wise listen to advice. And then like the questions were, share a time when you ignored someone's advice, why? Or a time when you followed someone's advice, were you glad that you did? What was the outcome? And then just the application as Christians, why is that important? You know, how to choose to be wise. And then it ends with a prayer. So this was really great too. We enjoyed this a lot because it is year round, and we didn't start it until, I don't remember, I think maybe it was around March when we started it. I think we will continue with this one when we start back in September. So that was a great Bible devotion as well. Along the lines of that, also, we had these, I got these from christianbook.com. They are inspirational cards to color. What it is there's, I think, how many cards are in here? 44 cards. They're like made out of a thick cardstock, and they each have, I don't know if you can see that, they each have a Bible verse. Can you see that? They each have a Bible verse on them that you can color in. So usually what I would do with these is we would start off the week. So on Mondays, we would start off the week pulling out a new card. All of my kids had one of these card decks, and we would start the week pulling off a card. We would read the verse together, and then the kids would color in the card. And actually, usually we would be doing our devotional while the kids were just like coloring in the card. We would run through the verse a couple more times, and this would be our verse of the week. So for the rest of the week, the kids would keep this one card pulled out. I would tell them to keep it like at their desk or something like that, somewhere where they can see it so that they could look at it often. But every day that we would come together for morning time, we would go through the verse again all together. Sometimes I would go around and have them each say it. And then on Fridays, I would quiz is, I would have them each recite the verse. They're not very long verses. This one is, be on your guard, stand firm in the faith, be courageous, be strong. 1 Corinthians 16:13. So on Fridays, I would have to try to recite the verse by memory. So it was a great way to do verse memorization. They got to color it in. and we would go through it every morning, and then we'd start a new verse the next week. The kids loved doing that. Like, all my kids, all the ages, really enjoyed doing this, and this is a great way for them to learn. I think there's different ones. I think you can get one that's like focuses on the Psalms and the Proverbs. These ones were just like random verses. So if I can find those, we'll probably do this for our next homeschool year. We did that, and then we also did, I'm almost certain we have the second volume of this, but this was another thing we integrated. Some of this stuff, so the things I showed you so far were things we did every single time, like every single morning. Some of these things we didn't do every single morning. I just rotated them through maybe once or twice a week and switched them out with some other books and stuff. So this was one of the ones that I did that with, and it's the Answers book for Kids, Volume 1, 22 questions from kids on creation and the fall. That's basically what it is. Each page has a question, like a commonly asked question that a kid might have, and then like a biblical based answer to that question. So for instance, you know, the question, the serpent talked to Eve, so why can't snakes talk today? That's one of the questions. Or did Adam give each of the animals the names that we call them today? So it was just kind of like interesting and fun, because what I thought was kind of funny was like every once in a while there'd be a question and like one of the kids would be like, I've always wondered that too. So that was a great resource in our morning time. And then another thing that we did, and this I just kind of have printed out, I think I've shown this a couple of times on Instagram. I got this from, I'm pretty sure you can still get it, but is the website reformedmama.com/children's catechism, and that's basically what it is. It's the children's catechism, questions and answers, and I know that's kind of hard to see and washed out, but I printed it out and it's like, I don't know, 5 pages, and that's basically what it is. So in total there's 145 questions and, well, yes, questions and answers, and it's basically just to affirm what we believe as Christians. I know some parents do this with their kids, some parents don't. We started doing this last year and this year. So we've been doing it for 2 years. We've gotten through about half of it. And the reason I say that is because not everybody catches up at the same time, and we go through them and repeat them a lot. We don't do this every single day, but I don't like to move on until the kids really have cemented like their answers and that they know and that everybody knows. So we've gone about halfway through, which is about 70-ish or so, a little bit more than 70 that we've done. It's everything from like the basic, like who made you? What else did God make? In how many persons does this one God exist? Where is God? Can you see God? And then we have the answers. So usually when we're learning these, I will say the question and then I'll just have them repeat the answer after me. And then usually after a little bit of doing that, I go around, I kind of randomly pick and choose, and I'll ask them some of the questions and have them answer them to see how well they know them, and then we'll move on. I usually do batches of about like 10 questions at a time. I've loved this. This has been so good for our homeschool. This has just been so good for our Bible time together. Yeah, I would highly look into, if you're a Christian parent, look into catechizing your kids. I think it's fabulous. Like I said, we only started doing it last year, but I'm so glad that we incorporated this into our family time. I don't know if it's already gone up, but I did film our last day of school, like a day in the life vlog, and I'm pretty sure we did it on that day, so there may be snippets of it there. And then we have these 2 books. This one is 50 True Stories of Daring Men of God, and this one is 50 True Stories of Daring Women of God. Each one of them, well, this one's for men, this one's for women, they showcase 50 different figures through history. I mean, some of them are still alive. It's just like a short synopsis of what they did in their life that was significant, something that they did where they maybe were up against a trial, difficult decision, and how they stood for what they believed in. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, Jeremy Camp, C.S. Lewis, Nate Saint. So that was great. We finished this one first, and then we got about halfway through the Daring Women of God one. Harriet Ross Tubman, Rosa Parks, Bethany Hamilton. So it's really great because there's even some people, like a lot of them, the kids are like, oh yeah, I know who that is or whatever. So again, didn't do this every single day, but just kind of usually once or twice a week. This is something we did do every single day. A nature poem for every day of the year. I love this. I love this entire book. So beautiful. Got this off of Amazon, and it's dated. So there literally is a poem for every day of the year. And each one of the poems is somehow has to do with the weather, nature, the changing of the seasons. In fact, as you go along through the months, like usually it'll have, I'm trying to find here. There'll be very specific poems even to that month. So like when summer starts, so here's the beginning of June. The thing that I love about this book, as opposed to some of the other poetry books, is that I didn't want a poetry book that was just aimed at kids. Like, I didn't want it to be kids poetry. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but again, because I have such an age range of kids, not children, but you know what I mean, my kids. I was fine with them being a little more out there, for the wording to maybe be a little more sophisticated. I would usually read the poem, and the kids would, I ask for some feedback on what they thought the poem was about, and it was very fun. It was very fun. The little kids had lots to say. That's all I'm gonna say. So that's why when I talk about, you know, that not everything has to be, it's okay. It's okay to pick things and to read things and to talk about things that you may think are going over little ones' heads. I think that they pick up and learn a lot more than we think sometimes. They can understand a lot more than we give them credit for sometimes. My little ones would, a lot of times they were very perceptive on a lot of the things that I read. I got this off of Amazon. I think everything else here were things that we just sort of threw in every once in a while. So we have this book here, One Blood for Kids, What the Bible Says About Race by Ken Ham. This is from Master Books. I got this off of Christian Books, but you can probably get it right from Master Books. And that's basically what it is. The back says, go to the heart of the cultural issue. Racism cannot be solved by laws, educational programs, or secular science. It is a sin and only God has the solution. And when it comes to things like this, I really want to approach it from a biblical world view with my kids. It's just how, I mean, it's kind of a whole other, you know, it's a whole other video, but the main reason for us homeschooling, the main reason for doing that is so that they can look at everything through the lens of, you know, how does God look at that? What does God think of this? What does the Bible tell me? Because it is the foundation of everything that we do. It is the center of everything that we do. And so not just in homeschool, but I want my kids to see that, you know, being a Christian is not just about picking and choosing. It's not just about going to church on Sundays and you're a Christian on Sundays. It literally affects every part of your life and how you look at things, what you believe, what you think, the choices you make, the decisions you make. All has to come from, like, what does God say about this? Yeah, One Blood for Kids, What the Bible Says About Race. Really, some really valuable information in here, and great discussion starters as well. Moving on to a little bit more Canadian specific resources. We have these two books here, the Kids Book of Canadian History and Canada Year by Year. These don't go, well, actually, this one does a little bit more. This one here, the Kids Book of Canadian History, this one goes into a little bit more detail. It goes through the very start of how Canada was formed, talks about the settlers, talks about the Aboriginal people, how the provinces came to be, all that kind of stuff. And it does go into quite a bit of information. It is quite thorough. So we would usually read a little bit of this a couple times a week, interspersed with this one, which is Canada Year by Year. This one does have a history element to it as well, but this one is more pinpointing and highlighting like important dates in history, important things, significant things that happened in certain years, in just sort of shorter little blurbs, talking about the different prime ministers. Give you the date, like 1880 or 1880 was the anthem, the old Canada anthem, written 1881, the Canadian Pacific Railway. Actually talk about even people like, talked about like Celine Dion. I think she had, I don't know, what did she have? She had some sort of record, well, not a record, but I think she held some sort of record for how long she was on the charts or something like that, talking about the different government parties, talking about, oh, here's another one. Alanis Morissette tops the charts with her album, The Afghanistan War, Margaret Atwood's Booker Prize. Yeah, so this one was a little bit more, this one was like the history of Canada. This one was more, what are the highlights? Do you know what I'm saying? The important dates, important moments, important figures in our history. I think this one ended like in 2000, because I remember the kids being like, is it gonna keep going? I was like, no, this is as far as it goes. 2017, yeah, it ends when Canada turned 150 in 2017. So anyway, yeah, but these were fun. And I mean, the kids we've done some more in-depth through the years, Canadian history, but this was like, I don't know, I kind of like these types of books where we just read a little bit of it here and there because it's a good refresher. I don't want them just to hear it once and then expect, okay, like, you know, we read about that, you learned about that, we're never gonna learn about it again. These were also really fun in our homeschool. These are the Professor Noggin trivia card games. I got these on Amazon. They're hit or miss on Amazon. Sometimes they're there and there's like a ton of them there, and then other times I can't find any of them, so you kind of have to just like keep searching. But I know there's a ton of them, like there are a ton of them. It's just about whether you can find them available. They're like trivia cards on any given subject. So I just brought 2 up. We probably have like 7 or 8 of them. This one is Life in the Ocean and this one is The Human Body. And it comes with dice. You roll the dice, and then there's cards that have like questions on the back. There's student and scholar depending on the level. And there's usually some sort of corresponding picture on the front. And usually what we would do is we'd go around, I'd have each of the kids, like they take turns rolling the dice. And I'd ask them that question and see if they could get it. And we kind of just rotated this like over and over again. We have pets, we have reptiles, we have one on Canadian geography. It's like one of those like fun ways to learn. I mean, they know they're learning, but they don't really feel like they're learning. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's also fun because like we'd start some and you'd like, nobody might know an answer to something, like no one would know the answer. And then it's fun to see how like, you know, a couple weeks later or a couple months later, they do know the answer because they remember it. So it's like that kind of tricky, you know, the kind of tricky learning. The kids always thought this was fun. So yeah, I'm probably gonna try to pick up more if I could find more. But if you can find them, I would snatch them up because they're great. Like and sometimes even for my littlest one, like she's 5, but she's very smart, especially when it comes to animals. She watches Wildcrats, so she knows all the animal facts more than I think. Sometimes I would just adjust the questions, you know what I mean? Or sometimes I would just have her roll the die and I might just kind of make up a question, you know? Anyway, but yeah, those were great. Kind of along the same lines because my kids adore, all my kids adore nature-y, animal-y, that type of stuff. My kids just love that type of stuff. We did this at the very beginning of school. This is The Magic and Mystery of Trees by DK. This is just such a colorful, I'm trying to hold it up. Such a colorful, like look how beautiful that is. The illustrations are so nice. The whole thing is in color and this whole book was just facts about trees. All kinds of facts about trees, how they grow, why they're in danger, what types there are, their root systems, the animals that, you know, live in them, the fruits, the seeds that grow, like just every possible thing you could think about that you'd want to know about trees is most likely in this book. We did this for a little bit, and then this is probably the most favorite thing we did in our morning time that I would say I think all my kids would agree. So it's these, also by DK, these DK books. I'm gonna try to hold, well, I'm not gonna be able to hold them all up, so I'll just show you them. If you're gonna get anything, guys, these books are so beautiful. First of all, they look beautiful. Okay, look at them. They're like gold foiled hardcover. They have like a fabric bookmark thing. They look beautiful on a bookshelf and they're just so wonderful. They're by DK. This one is The Wonders of Nature. We have an anthology of intriguing animals, and then we have the mysteries of the universe. And as far as I know, they have a dinosaur one, and then they have another one that I think, I don't know if it's already come out or it's just about to come out, and I don't remember what it is, but I want to get my hands on those two as well. And we love these books. Okay, so what I would do is I would cycle one in every day. So I would just like go through them and do like one a day. For instance, if we did animals, if it was that day that we did animals, like I'm going to show you these. They're not drawings, like they're actual pictures of the animals. And it's just stunning. Like, it's absolutely stunning. Yeah, stunning. So there's a ton. Like, I don't know how many pages there are here. It's like 200 pages or more. And each one focuses on an animal, and it gives you little facts where you find them, and then some information about that animal. Like their habitat, what they eat, all kinds of stuff. Usually like some sort of little interesting fact that you might not know. Every time we would do these, I would like make the kids guess like what that animal was for the day. Usually I'd give them a hint. I'd be like, it's a mammal, or it flies, or I don't know, we don't have these in Canada, or something like that, to see who could pick the animal. So it was all a big game. We got, yeah, we're getting to the end. We probably have a quarter left of this book. I'm gonna be sad. Honestly, when we're done this, I'm gonna be sad. We did that. Wonders of Nature is just a little bit of this and that. It does have some animals in here as well, but it just kind of has, I don't know, all types of things. Trees, the corpse flower, protea, bamboo, iris, spike moss, pretty much, yeah, just naturey things. Pumice. This one was interesting too, because I would say a lot, more so than not, there's a lot of things in here we did not know about. So that one, and then Mysteries of the Universe, which I think is obvious, is like very space related. Water on Mars, the Caloris Basin, the lunar seas, comets, cliffs on a comet, yeah, exoplanets, I think that's where we left off, yeah, black hole. And just gives you all kinds of information. Like, they're stunning, guys. They're stunning. And on, like I said, on a bookshelf, I keep these in our family room on the bookshelf there because they're so gorgeous that I need them on display all the time. Absolutely fantastic. Love those. Highly recommend. I think that's it. I think that's it. That is everything that we used this year for our morning time. I was going to add in our read alouds, but there's so many there, this would be a 2-hour video. So I'm gonna do a separate video for our read alouds. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and you got maybe some suggestions, some things maybe you wanna add into your morning time. If you don't already do that, I would highly encourage you to do some sort of version of a morning time. It's such a great time, especially like throughout the day, because we're all kind of, in a way, we're all kind of doing our own things. I mean, I get together in groups with the kids, but it's really the only time that we all are together doing something is first thing in the morning. And it also sets us up to have like a good day. Starting off our day together, having conversations, discussions, prayer, reading the Bible, all the things. I feel like it really has brought us, honestly, really has brought us closer together and has like kept that connection between all of us and all of my kids. It's just been invaluable. So if you don't already do it, I really would suggest that you try to maybe incorporate that into your homeschool. If you have any questions, let me know. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time in my next video. Bye.